That's fucking disgusting! In the year of our Lord 2010, we got so many good things. Sonic Colors, Mario Galaxy 2, Dad coming back home after leaving for 6 years. But even with all of that, I'm left with a sour taste in my mouth because you exist.
Summer is finally here, and with that comes summer activities and prepping for that hot winter body. As the father of an adoptive teenager, I gotta partake in these in order to bond with my child. Ain't that right, Fonder?
What? I'm not your kid. He's over there.
Oh shit, you guys look just alike. Anyway, you still want to play this?
No.
Too bad.
Man, I'm so overwhelmed right now. Other Mario sports games would at least have an opening cutscene. These were a good representation of the game's style and even personality, something that I don't see here.
Well, wait just a second. There is an opening cutscene if you wait a bit at the title screen, and my god, look at all these sports and the courts we get to play on.
It's just a white background.
Exactly. Back then, Nintendo was going for an Apple-like aesthetic with their sports games using minimalism. Even Mario Kart Wii followed this theme with a generic white background.
Yeah, I guess, but at least with Mario Kart Wii, the point of the blank background was to put more emphasis on the motion controls with the Wii wheel. What's this game's excuse?
Well, this game does have motion controls.
What? A Wii game having motion controls? I would've never guessed!
When playing each sport, you're given the option of 2 different playstyles, Wiimote and Nunchuck and Wiimote Sideways.
When I was younger, I used to play with the Wiimote on its side, and it's not a bad option if you hate having joy in life. Controlling your character in a 3D space with a D-pad, it gives me flashbacks to Mario 64 DS. It just doesn't work!
I think you're being overdramatic.
Shut the fuck up, I'm trying to have a bonding moment with you.
You're not even playing with me. You're just bitching about it with my freaky doppelganger.
You two look the same, therefore, it's close enough.
This game is kind of deceiving because you look at this box and you think, wow, 4 whole sports to play. That's like 4 games in one. But you soon come to realize that this is less like an all-you-can-eat buffet and more like your Aunt Judy's cooking.
Now, obviously, these are each different sports that therefore have different sets of rules. Dodgeball stands out to me the most because it gave me a concussion. I don't really remember anything else after that. However, each sport is more or less simplified to control kind of the same, that being moving and swinging the Wii remote to do various actions.
I can imagine this was done to make developing each game easier. However, in doing so, it makes it so that these games feel like you're watching water evaporate. Take, for example, basketball. It's basically 1-to-1 to hoops 3-on-3, and that game was pretty fun, but the personality here was just sucked right out of it.
When I did talk about hoops 3-on-3, I stated that it was the first Mario sports game to get a little bit basic. But at least with this game, it was still fun, engaging, and had interesting mechanics.
You say this game's a copy of Hoops, but that it's also less fun? That doesn't make any sense.
I was getting to that part. You see, this is why I don't talk to other people.
Unlike in hoops, you can't really collect that many coins. You get like 1 per game, and I feel like at that point, you can just get rid of the coins entirely. In hoops, it was a risk for a reward. The more you try collecting coins, the more you were at risk of getting f***ing bitch slapped and losing the ball.
Well, instead of collecting coins, you can use your special move by successfully passing the ball to other players to charge it up.
It's like when I microwave spoons. I get a bigger spoon when I do it.
Isn't that dangerous?
Only if you're stupid.
These are essentially freebie shots. It's not guaranteed you'll make it in, but the chances are pretty high. Each character has their own way of messing with their opponents while securing a shot. In other words, it's flat out cheating. It's like a press here to win button.
Along with special moves, there's also items you can pick up. While these items were in Hoops, here in Mario Sports Mix, they show up more frequently and are actually pretty useful. You can use these items to trip up your opponents, and if you're feeling especially fancy that night, you can also combine them with your basketball shot to better guarantee a score.
Oh, I get it. This is just like what I do in real life with my knife ball.
How does that help?
It stabs anyone trying to hold it. Including me.
Items also have different abilities. Shells will knock over anyone who tries to intervene. Bananas will curve your ball. Mini mushrooms will turn people small. And bombs, well, you can guess what they do.
Now you would think that these items would offer up a lot more strategy within the gameplay, having to use them at the right time in order to get a higher score and tripping up your opponents so they wouldn't get that.
It does make sense. That's how it works in Mario Kart, and the item effects in this game do seem really helpful. But I just got this letter from my dad saying that they don't really help at all.
Did your dad really send that letter?
Yeah, he's really passionate about Mario sports.
I mean, it's neat. That's it. It doesn't really shake the core gameplay of the sports, it more so gives you a weird advantage. If the items were more constant, it would probably make the game a bit more fun, but instead, I forget I have them most of the time.
The ideas are there, and honestly, this game could have been the Mario Kart of sports, you know, with chaotic items and whatnot. But instead, you're mainly just playing the sport.
Boo! I don't play Mario sports games to play the sport.
Well, what do you play them for then?
I play them to cope.
Now, just like in Hoops 3-on-3, you got tourneys to play through, but instead of it being just one sport, you gotta play through 4. And also 3 cups through each. And also, it's more boring than going fishing with Dad.
To be fair, the game does get more challenging the more you get to higher leveled cups. However, when you're constantly doing the same things over and over and over and over again, it becomes really tedious. And the worst part about it is that most of these courts have very interesting designs and gimmicks, but they just don't feel all that special due to the lackluster gameplay.
It's like trying to make oatmeal interesting. Sure, you can add spices and other ingredients, but at the end of the day, it's still oatmeal.
It's really bad oatmeal too.
I'm pretty sure that's pasta.
Pasta or not, these games feel like they take forever to complete. By the end of the next tourney, I'm wiped out, but the game thinks it's so interesting it asks you just to play the next one. And listen, I'm not a rude guy. I only screamed at the Wendy's drive-thru for an hour instead of 2 today, so I can't say no!
After you beat a cup, you can replay said cup for a chance to unlock an alternate path. These paths lead to smaller challenge matches of the sport you're playing, and beating said challenges will allow you to unlock new stages and characters, like Green Toad.
Wow, I would never want to, in a million years, replay the same cups just to go on a different path.
Well, at least we're at the end of the Star Cup.
This isn't Final Fantasy, this is Mario Sports Mixture.
Yeah, so it's your first time here.
Just like in Hoops, you fight off some Square Enix characters and even get to unlock them after completing various cups. These guys are supposed to be like a final boss or something, but they're really not that hard, and once you beat them, you get a nice little gem with a sport ball inside of it.
We really reign supreme because we got all the gems, and all that's well ends well.
Oh shit, maybe this is Final Fantasy.
My entire life is a lie!
Someone at Square must have been really trigger happy because putting a final boss in a sports game is like mixing Vaseline and water together. But it's a good thing that I like it.
No, bad idea.
To this day, scientists and philosophers nationwide, myself included, have no idea why Behemoth was included in a Mario sports game of all games. His inclusion makes no goddamn sense, and no one seems to question it. We're just told to fight it because, well, big purple evil thing looks evil and just so happens to have a health bar, so you know what that means.
Sorry, man, you know I have to.
Well, you can't do little baby damage with these golf clubs.
I think they're hockey sticks.
What you're supposed to do is pick up a rock and then pass it like a volleyball, and then hit Behemoth. I will say, the special move is kind of cool though. However, for a final boss for Mario Sports Mix, I would have thought they would have mixed up the sports a little bit more.
Oh, there's actually a mode for that when you beat the final boss.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think it's called a Sports Mix. Tom?
Why would you put a mode that is the title of your fucking shitty sports game behind a final boss that takes so long to get to and has nothing, and I mean nothing, to do with the game itself? This should have been here at the start. This is like making the jump button an endgame bonus. It just doesn't make sense.
The mode itself is nothing special. It's essentially the tournament mode again, but with randomized sports. It's like reaching into a box of chocolates, except you get a hammer to the head whenever it selects dodgeball.
If you play through this mode, you'll also get to fight a different version of Behemoth. For some reason. I don't know, it's never explained. Just like the way that I look, there's really no reason as to why.
This has got to be one of the most confusing messes of a game I've ever played.
The game isn't really buggy or glitchy.
No, not like that. The game feels like it wants to be so much more, but can't due to oversimplifying the controls and offering a quantity over a quality. You're left with a game that's just boring.
The game is pretty polished, it's just so damn boring. Mario Hoops 3-on-3 was able to get away with being just a tad bit basic due to the control scheme. It made the game more fun while keeping some of that Mario charm, even if it wasn't fully enforced like in the other games.
Now, I personally loved this game when I was younger, but looking back on it now with the added context of more recent Mario sports titles, yeah, I'll admit, Sports Mix, it hasn't held up that well. There's just nothing really noteworthy here. Even the weird Final Fantasy stuff feels more like a cool Easter egg than something I'd revisit this game for.
I mean, the problems that I have with this game are the same problems I would have with future Mario sports games. But guess what? It only gets worse due to free updates and locking the content behind them.
This was the true beginning to the end of fun Mario sports games. The game that came out after this one was Mario Tennis Open, and while that game was also disappointing and really boring, at least it didn't look like it had potential.
It seems like Mario Sports Mix could have been a really great game on par with other sports games from the past, but for some reason, it falls really flat.
I think if the title only stuck to one sport and spent all of its time developing that, it would have been really good. But instead, we got 4 boring sport games. In one package. This is why I'm an only father. I don't have a job, nor do I have any more hobbies.
Hey, so do you think you could feed me tonight? I haven't eaten anything since you adopted me.
What? No, what do you think I am, made of money?
You are a terrible father.
Shut up and get off my computer monitor.